I am Dr. Basil J. De Silva. I have already uploaded several video clips on Tranquility meditation. But today I am going to tell you a story of a yogi who meditated in the forest, making use of the rising sun and the setting sun, and ultimately gained supernormal powers. Now, while watching the beautiful scenes of the setting sun in the Colombo beaches of Sri Lanka, listen to the story how he built up his powers and how he collected the information. During 1970s, there was a group of young, keen aspirants of meditation getting together at the International Meditation Center at Vijayarama, Mawata, Colombo 7, and also did research into obscure areas of Buddha Dhamma. At the time, the chief priest was Venerable Premasiri Bhikkhu, who now runs a retreat meditation center at Kanubala. He was very helpful, and in fact he gave us a free hand to do our research findings. In order to prove the existence of past lives, we hypnotized a few cases and looked into their previous lives and gathered information. About that time, we struck upon a case of a young person who had been a yogi in the distant past, meditating by making use of the rising sun and the setting sun amongst other types of meditation, and gained spiritual heights. We could not exactly ascertain the location or the period, but we vaguely remember him saying the word Sorabara, which suggests of a remote area in Sri Lanka. He also happened to mention that during the periods he exposed himself to the morning sun and the evening setting sun, he mentioned that the exposure to the rising sun and the setting sun showed improvements physically and mentally. We reckon that according to modern day understanding, it may have been the ultraviolet rays in the morning sun and whatever similar rays that is let out during the time of the setting sun. Key area of the information we got from him under hypnosis is as follows. He started by saying that he recalled living in a cave in the forest. The cave was set under a hillock, and also there was a pond nearby. He said during his period of stay there was a monkey that became friendly with him and brought food for him now and then. During the free hours of the daytime, to arrest the wandering mind, he said he used another formula similar to meditation, or meditation we can call it. He said he collected 100 leaves and 100 pebbles or tiny stones and sat under a shady place and did the following exercise. Place one leaf on the floor and then place a pebble on top of it. Then place another leaf by the side and place a pebble on top of it. Similarly, he continued this exercise with the 100 pebbles and leaves, and thereafter he did the same thing again and again as long as he liked. He said he had some benefits from that too. He then went on to mention that Early in the morning, he used to climb up the hillock and watch out for the rising sun and meditated for a while. Then once again in the evening, just giving enough time before the setting sun, climbed the hill and started meditating. He said he spent more time in the evening with the setting sun than during the morning sun. The methodology used to meditate with the setting sun is as follows. He said he sat comfortably and looked out into the setting sun and kept that stance unwaveringly, undisturbed, and kept on watching with his eyes glued on the setting sun as long as the sun sets. Thereafter, he closed his eyes and focused on the replica left in the mind by the setting sun and kept on looking at it as long as that sign lasted in the mind. This means that if you look at a light for a while and then close your eyes, there will be impression of that light left in the mind's eye. So what he did was he kept on looking at that impression or the replica of the sun as long as that lasted in the mind. Then he said that after a while, after the sun has set, he could get the replica in the mind with the eyes closed as well as with the eyes open, and he felt this was an improvement. Then he went on to mention that after he has gained powers of concentration on that formula, he kept on recalling what happened from the beginning to the end from the time he sat to watch the sun with the closed eyes. That means he recalled the entire incident from the memory from the beginning to the end. He said he kept on doing this for some time. The interesting area of the information is that while he was doing this, engaged in this exercise, he said he felt himself getting lifted up, meaning he levitated a little bit. Then about the same time, he said he started recalling impressions of his past lives. So we were very curious and interested to listen to him. At that time, we made a mistake by jumping the gun and asking him, "Can you tell us what you will be in the future?" Then when he tried to talk, he said, "I can see light." He said, "I could see lightning and thunder," and gave the impression that lightning had struck him. Then he suddenly awoke and came out of the trance. Then we asked him whether he remembered anything. He said no, but he complained of a heaviness and a severe headache. We gave him some water and rested for a while. Then a little bit of the headache went off, but then in his difficult state he went home without the headache subsiding altogether. And thereafter he did not turn up at the meditation center. Later we heard that his headache had lasted for a couple of days and his family home front had stopped him from coming to the meditation center. Little after that, I got a series of assignments abroad, and I went to an African country and later on to Papua New Guinea. All these journeys lasted about 10 years. Then when I look back again, I have lost touch with the meditation center, and the Venerable Premasuri Bhikkhu was not there anymore. Regarding what has been mentioned so far, I would like to add a few comments. It is not everybody that can meditate watching the rising sun or the setting sun by the beach. An alternative would be to watch the sun from a rooftop or a balcony. Or otherwise, the next best alternative would be to watch a candlelight placed at a reasonable distance from the river. Preferably a blank background, probably with the sky blue or a pleasing color, would help. Another thing is that it would be best to get a fairly thick candle, preferably with colored wax such as red, orange, violet, blue or green, because the color of the wax when the candle is lit gives a soothing glow and a soothing color for the eyes, which is very helpful for meditation. Finally, when watching, try to keep your mind focused not from the point of your eyes but from the central area of the mind where this focus takes place, which the ancients call the Ajna chakra or the third eye. That is the area slightly behind the eyebrows, the nervous center. It is not easy to start watching from there for a beginner, but if you are conscious of having to get used to it, you can slowly get accustomed to it, but don't rush, because if you rush, it might irritate or make you to feel hurt. It must be a gradual development, slowly taking the attention from the third eye area. The advantage is that when you do that, a lot of brain cells behind this concentrating center which are not functioning begins to open out and give you extra power of meditation and concentration. This is just a note to, if possible, to engage on. Then another area I would like to point out is that when somebody is on a spiritual exercise like this, the opposing factors or negativity will try to influence and to bring hazards and prevent you from your task. So must be very careful and mindful of any obstructions, irritations, things that would deter you from proceeding coming up. The best thing is to just learn to watch them and let them pass without your taking any action on them. Just as a wanton cloud that comes and goes away, which doesn't bother you, get into that sort of attitude with regard to negativity that arises when you are meditating. Then the final advice is that it may help you to sort of calm the external atmosphere by sending out thoughts of kindness, compassion, love to the external world. This is dispersing mental energy to the outside atmosphere, which in turn will guard you. You can send thoughts of mental energy by saying, "May all beings in the 10 directions be peaceful and be happy and be serene." Finally, I would like to mention that we could invoke the blessings of the religious teachers or the divine masters to protect us from danger, pitfalls and unforeseeable circumstances and disruptions that will prevent us from proceeding along the path. As for me, I have been in the habit of seeking the blessings of the past, present and future Buddhas, the teachings and the association of the order. And thereafter I make a resolution that during the period of my stay, no external distracting thoughts should disturb me, and then sit down to meditate. Then just before I get up, recapitulate what went through and then transfer the merits of the exercise to all living beings in the 10 directions, the guardian deities, gurus or teachers, parents and family members, well-wishers, bereaved ones and whomever you want to make special mention of.